Welcome to BrainSoup, the podcast that delves into a fascinating world where humanity and technology coexist. In an era of ever-advancing innovation, we invite you to join us on a journey to explore the profound impact of technology on our lives, relationships, and society as a whole. I'm your host, Ryan Shirzadi, with
Cal Miller,
Fernando Mogel,
and we'll navigate this complex and thought-provoking questions that arise from humans and machines that now coexist and beyond. Let's get started.
All right.
New intro.
Nice.
Shaking it up.
Yeah.
It's like
AI is great.
Humans and machine coexisting. Which one of us is the
intro
machine?
here.
I think that's the grand question, right? I mean, like, I've seen a lot of videos on that specific thing. I don't know if they're fake or not, but, like, you know, people have being implants into society and they glitch sometimes. So I've seen some stuff on Instagram, TikTok, total conspiracy stuff, but I mean, what if it's legit? You know, what if there are little, like, machines that are totally being controlled for, like, you know, mass, you know, adoption of certain things that whatever on whoever's agenda that they want to accomplish through robots that can actually learn and grow from there. I mean,
So you're saying there's like robots walking around with like skin suits on?
Yeah.
Is that?
I don't believe
Are they like
it.
politicians?
I mean, they
or
could
are they just
be.
regular people.
I mean, you've
like,
seen
are they
the-
making choices for us?
They
Like,
suspect me.
I think we're on to something, man. So like the thing here is, like, have you seen people glitch out, like, while they're on camera?
I
Like,
glitch out all the time. Like,
I mean-
I get
like,
a brain, one of those
is
moments.
it like deja
Yeah, like
vu? Is that like?
I don't want to say what I'm referring to because it's too controversial, you know. So I mean, y'all know.
No.
No.
I
I
just.
actually don't.
But outside of that, so let me get this straight. You're watching on Instagram or TikTok videos of like robots,
I don't use
people
TikTok,
glitching.
Yeah. Instagram Reel, like,
Is
so
this
like
like singers glitching on stage?
so not that. I mean, that's happened in some of the videos, but like the main ones are when they're
Like
in like
Katy Perry?
podcast. I mean, I've seen that one. That one's kind of crazy, but more so, like, I don't even want to say the names because it's too, like, it feels like I'm getting too close to the subject. But in general, like, when you're in a podcast one-on-one, let's say, with somebody, and then they're answering a question, like, you notice when a certain question comes up, they just, like, shut down.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, they freeze for, like, minutes on it. Not just seconds. Like, and you have people in the background, the video guys and stuff, just like,
And then they wait for someone to clap to wake them up?
no.
Like
They
their
just kinda
handler?
come back,
Is this like
like-
a handler thing? Like someone's controlling like the possessed person? Like, or is this like
I think
like
it's
robots?
more like
are we talking like someone's casting a spell on this person?
I'm
has
talking
control over them?
no
Or, like-
spells, no spell. I'm talking straight robot, like glitchy robot,
Oh, okay.
like glitchy AI, glitchy.
So like Mark
robot.
Zuckerberg.
You said a name.
That's too close. That's too close. One of the biggest names in the
takes us
world
there.
right now.
No, but it puts us there now. So like, I was thinking like this video specifically of like there's this video that's been replicated though. So like I don't know like which one's real, but like there's one with shit. I don't want to say this.
Dude, you can't walk this path and then like
So have you
start
guys
backing
seen
up. Like,
guys
what-
seen like Mitch McConnell, right? Like when he's talking and stuff, like, and he just completely glitches up.
He's old, bro.
Mini stroke.
I'm
You
just
think
saying-
these are mini strokes or like?
I'm just saying, people get old. Like, you ever talk to your grandpa and he just falls asleep whenever you're talking
Mitch
to
isn't
him?
falling asleep. He just goes like,
Bro, I watch you do that sometimes.
you know, I don't do that.
Well, I mean, think about the brain as, it's the most powerful computer there is sitting on our two shoulders. It glitches as well, you know, biological glitches. I mean,
Think about how much memory that dude has used in his brain running
I mean-
America.
well, and actually there is
Yeah.
a comparison there, like with brains and computers.
Yeah.
Really, yeah, like the older you get, the more information you have, the harder it is to recall. Aside from, you know, the generative things, it really is like you
But would
have
it
much
be
more
so-
information to sort through and recall. There's a lot of, you know, parallels in computation and you know, neuroscience.
But would it be so crazy to say that there
Carl
are
Sagan wrote something
robots?
about that.
Like, I mean, like we've seen robots that are available for consumers to actually look at and like play with, you know, whatever, do the AI talking back and forth.
Boston
Like,
dog.
yeah, what really says that we don't already have access to that technology? I mean, like, it isn't that far out of, you know, reality. Like, as far as having actual people, robots. Like,
I mean, bruh,
like, you know. And, I mean,
do you have any evidence of this? Because if not, like, I mean, are we just going to go down the path, I think there's people that are, like, being controlled by the devil, you know?
I mean, that's religious, right? Like, you know, I mean, obviously, like, people believe that. Like, and
people believe there's robots walking around us with skin suits.
I mean, more so, like, that's more feasible, like, in, like, a technology or science realm. Like, I mean, it's totally there. We're there, right? As the consumer technology goes, we're there. So, I mean, when we have, like, actual companies that have their proprietary information and data and, like, all the things they've been working on for years and years,
yeah.
Like, I mean, they're farther ahead than what they're showing.
Would that be, like, considered, like, human trial testing, then, if they're, like, putting these robots out there and trialing them with humans? Is that fair?
We've seen the self-driving cars.
Is that fair, though?
They're driving on the streets with us.
Yeah.
I literally pass them all the time now.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, and, like, why not?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a car. It's not a human.
I just think it would be harder
autonomous.
But it's a car. It's not
but it's autonomous, right?
I'm not disagreeing that the cars exist. I'm just saying, like...
So, well, autonomous, I like, we talk about self-driving cars, and they get marketed as self-driving, but really there's actually, like, I think it's, like 6 or 7 levels of autonomous vehicles, and we're, like, at level 2, or, like, we're, we're still very low on the, like, full automated self-driving technology. It's a lot more complicated than we give credit to.
True.
And I think a lot of it that comes down to the amount of variables that you have to take into account for, like, the machine learning algorithms to be able to, I know each and every incident. I don't know if you've seen those reels where I think it's like a horse and carriage that the Tesla is looking at, and it's trying to determine what it is, and then it, like, suddenly it turns from, like, a car to, like, a big 18-wheeler, and then suddenly the 18-wheeler, like, facing the car, like, it's glitching out because it just doesn't know what to do with that information. Like, it's a horse and cart.
So this is like issues they deal in Amish land with Teslas.
I mean, perhaps, I don't know, but, like, that's just one of the many variables that you can get. So we're actually pretty far away from true self-driving autonomous vehicles.
I agree with that.
They get marketed as self-driving, but
isn't that even
I just
more
want
of
my Minority Report self-driving.
Do you think that's more of a liability, though? Like, I mean, honestly, right?
Well,
like, it's more honestly, even than a person.
Honestly, I think right now we're at a point where we are in not desperate, but, like, we're in big need of autonomous vehicles, because we've gotten to the point in society where our attention span is so short that it's so hard to tell. Like, you see a person that looks like they're drunk, they could just as easily be on their phone, and it's, like, so common to see people, like,
Truth.
like, on, like, between 2 lanes. So it's like we're at a point where it's almost safer to have a not totally autonomous vehicle driving than a person who's checking their phone every couple of seconds.
So
right,
when we get to the autonomy, and there's accidents, who's at fault?
Well, you've come to that's the
Is
whole.
that the driver?
That's the whole.
Or is that the person who wrote the company that writes the scripts? Like, is like.
Well, that's the problem with, like, not just the technology, but also the ethics, the philosophy. Like, there's this thing called, like, it's called the trolley problem in philosophy.
Please explain.
So, I'm gonna butcher this, but basically, there's a trolley that comes upon 2 scenarios. One involves, killing, like, multiple people.
Yeah.
And then another one involves killing, I don't even recall the exact scenario, but a different assortment of people, whether it's, like, a baby or an older man, or so it has to determine which choice to take, and how do you calculate who to save? So those are the kinds of scenarios that, like, autonomous vehicles are going to have to face. And then think about this. If you fall into a scenario where the only the 2 most likely scenarios are either you kill a group of people, or you swerve but you kill yourself, or you have a higher probability, which one is the vehicle going to take? Now, how are companies going to sell a car that is instructed to kill the driver? Will people buy a car that that they know is going to choose between choose to kill the driver as opposed to sacrificing? Yeah.
Wow.
And then how do you calculate between there's an elder gentleman there, there's a mother, it's not just the technology, it's the philosophy, it's the ethics, and so this is actually a scenario where the trolley problem is becoming very literal, not just a thought experiment. So it's a really interesting area, because aside from all of the different variables that it has to take into account, it also has to basically calculate the worth of different living beings, including the driver.
Yeah.
Now,
so that's why that's just the added complications to it, besides the technology.
So, are they think about this, right? So if they're both autonomous, right, and they're going to end up in a collision together, and they're both making corrections, do they constantly keep making corrections? Is this your accent's now going to be
oh shoot, yeah.
Before you even get to it's the steering wheel starts jerking because it's reading the other car reads it moves. You ever dance down an aisle, you're walking down an aisle, and y'all are on the same side, and then y'all try to step up, do the hallway dance or whatever you want to call it, right? Right. Is your car going to start doing that?
Yeah, I guess that just...
That'd be terrifying. Outside the accident already, impending accident.
I've seen it with AI when I'm using the different flows you can use. Sometimes the AI gets confused between two different people that you kind of put in these different basically tasks, and it'll kind of shoot it back and forth, and it confuses itself by doing this over and over again, and that's catastrophic failure.
Yeah,
happens when that happens. And I don't know what would happen if two cars experienced that. Right at the end of the day, it's
yeah, because they're each how fast do they make decisions? If they're making millisecond decisions or faster, all these movements are going to be happening. We don't make decisions.
And that's why it's so complicated, technology speaking, because it's not a logic tree where you have. You would have infinite decisions. Instead, it's machine learning. But how does a machine learning algorithm learn? You feed it all kinds of scenarios, objects, or whatever images, whatever it is you're feeding it, so that it can learn what the scenario is. But think about the real world. How many scenarios are you gonna have to feed it to be able to calculate every single scenario? So that's why, with these self-driving cars, they normally start it in the inner city where there's not a lot of speed. It's pretty predictable. Traffic and everything.
Yeah. The roads are painted.
The roads are painted pretty well.
You go into
up to date
different kinds of territory, rural areas where there's animals, sheep, I don't know, whatever, and just those variables increase. So we're definitely not there. There's still a lot to solve. We like to paint the picture that we're there, but it's more. A lot of it is really marketing.
This makes me feel like my other point is obsolete, because if we can't be there with cars, there's absolutely zero chance there's people with a skin that's so human-like walking around,
Well, and being able, because the whole the Turing test, it's one of my favorite concepts. Alan Turing, who kind of is seen as the father of computers, and the Turing test is, I don't know, what's that movie about the AI? I know there's a lot, but the one that falls in love with the human and vice versa, or no, the human falls in love with her. Yeah.
Joaquin Phoenix, right?
Yeah. No, it's not Joaquin Phoenix, is it?
Isn't it? What's it not? Joaquin Phoenix?
Isn't it the guy that plays Poe? The guy that I mentioned. Maybe.
I thought it was Joaquin Phoenix, and Scarlett Johansson was the voice or something, right?
Oh, Joaquin Phoenix and Scarlett.
If it's her, I think it's those two.
Oh, maybe you're right.
I'm
100% right.
No, I'm not. I'm just I don't know. That was one of those movies that came out a few years ago.
Well, anyway, the whole concept of the Turing test is, when will it get to a point where the AI will be able to fool the human, thinking that it's interacting with a real human. And that's kind of the Turing test. If it can fool it, it'll pass. Well, one thing is trying to fool someone on a chatbot. It's an entirely different thing for a real human or a real human-looking AI to be able to fool another. I don't know. That would take a lot, I think, to get to that.
Yeah, and to be able to trust it as if you were the person to create this, to be able to trust it day in, day out to continue to function as such and learn only and grow better, rather than when it's communicating with humans. We're not very great. Like, it could pick up weird things.
Well, you've seen what's happened to some of these AI that get kind of released into, like, there was, I forget which one it was. I think it was one on Twitter that was, kind of sent out, and it became like a xenophobic Nazi type of personality.
Yeah, Twitter,
and then in China, I think there was one as well that was kind of, experimented on, and it became this, like, capitalist, free market type of AI. So I don't know. I don't recall exactly, but, like, they're just because of the nature of the way they're trained is just so difficult to predict and control.
Wow.
Well, yeah. So the idea of this segment is I'm always reading. I have lots of books to choose from, and I'm always, as you can see, picking out little quotes and ideas. So, this week, one of the books I've been reading is this 4,000 Weeks, about time management for morals. It's not what you'd expect. It's,
not needed for those androids.
Just talks about our relationship with time and how we tend to, it's hard to explain because there's so many concepts and it's really good. But I guess this is a good quote from it that I highlighted. It says, "Our obsession with extracting the greatest future value out of our time blinds us to the reality that, in fact, the moment of truth is always now, that life is nothing but a succession of present moments culminating in death, and that you'll probably never get to a point where you feel like you have things in perfect working order." Because one of the premises is that we try to extract as much efficiency and as much out of our time. We try to, almost like we see it like a commodity. We're trying to calendarize it, and so much of what we do is thinking about getting to a better future, and in the process we kind of miss out on so much on the present moment. We're always anxious, we're stressed, and so a lot of these symptoms of our current society, like depression and distraction, and even like looking at our phones, it's just we're trying to avoid the inevitability of our limitation, and the limitation of time. So instead of facing having to choose one thing over the other, we go to our immediate dopamine fix to forget the limitation of time and the limitation of us as humans. So yeah, it's a good book. Makes you rethink the relationship of time, and I think it's really relevant because I definitely relate to those stresses of wanting to do all of these different things, and you have work and you have these projects and and then family and so a lot of stresses and anxiety.
Yeah, I guess like if you do like really take advantage of the present, like I think stress, a lot of stress comes from like obviously procrastination, which is part of time management, which people resort to when they feel like super stressed about something in their present moment. They'll start to kind of push things off.
Yeah, and it's not to like, because that's the funny thing about procrastination. It's not necessarily to relax. A lot of times you procrastinate by doing another, equally meticulous task that takes time, takes energy, but you're like avoiding. It's like avoidance of dread or limitation.
Exactly, and I think that plays a huge part into like mental health too, though, right? Like at the end of the day, if you can actually, like, I feel like you can live a more fulfilled life if you're actually looking at each thing as it comes and analyze it. Like I heard something the other day actually that was really funny. It was like about like ADHD and how they manage time. Like ADHD people and like how time is like their biggest like enemy, I guess you could say, right? So like in this theory or whatever that they were giving, it was like ADHD guy like lives so much in the present that anything that comes up that seems more fun than what they're currently doing or more like value adding to whatever their interests are as a human, like I like sports, whatever else, that's something that interests me. And I'd probably in the present moment, if I was working on a project, so he said, hey, let's go play soccer, dropping everything and going play soccer, right?
Yeah,
like is that also like hedonism?
What?
Like isn't that also like isn't that also like just hedonism? Like when you just do things that you want to do because they bring you enjoyment.
Yeah, and isn't that part of like enjoying your life?
Well, yeah, and
right?
you know, there's always, of course, a balance between extremes. But I mean, it's kind of like if you think about, you know, Buddhist philosophy and meditation, and then like the artistic flow state, they're all about being in the present moment. You know, like meditation, mindfulness is about you know, being in the present, observing, being observant, and even like the little tasks that you're doing. And the flow state of like in the arts, when you're like so engrossed in what you're doing and things just are flowing, it's, I think for me, it's almost very close to meditation because you're like fully in the present moment. You're fully immersed. You know, you're not thinking about externalities or the future or whatever. Or even like, I don't know, when you're in a relationship and you know, time seems to just disappear, or you know, because you're like so engrossed in the moment. Like all of the, like, I don't know, these.
What's that like?
It's great. I mean, all of these, like the flow state and that, and I mean, I think it's almost cliche. Like those are moments that we cherish so much, and yet we miss so often because of this kind of, you know, the way we are. Even, you know, even like another cliche is like in other countries where, you know, maybe there's not so much as much wealth, but there seems to be a more kind of enjoyment of, I don't know, the moment, or and then you think about all of these you know, wealthy individuals who, it's another cliche in my society, like they seem to be so unhappy. Obviously not, it's cliche and it's generalist, but yeah, so I think it's like telling, yeah, obviously like you say, you know, there's the extreme of chasing everything out of pure enjoyment. Obviously, like planning is good, you know, having goals, having ambitions, but there's, I don't know, there's like you can also be too caught up making goals for something that is not even what you really want. And that's kind of more of the point of the book. It's like not being productive for productivity's sake, but more to align with what you know, with things that you truly align with what you care about. Because it's so easy, you know, like with emails, you're efficient, like responding to all the emails. The more emails you reply to, the more you're going to get more. Like there's always going to be more to get through. So ironically, more productivity often just means more tasks that you need to get through. And so it's not necessarily the solution. You know, like these productivity gurus and these kinds of different tactics to be more productive, more efficient. A lot of times it's a trap to just having more things to do, and that take you away from other more meaningful things.
Yeah. Wow.
So do you enjoy living in the moment, or do you like?
I try to
do you spend like certain time to yourself each day to like you know, cliche, I guess that you've used it like 17 times recently, but like cliche. Do you drink your coffee by yourself in the morning, or do
I don't
you
really drink coffee,
or like do you have a cup of water in the morning? Do you listen to music right when you get up? Do you read like news? Do you like?
No, I read like, well, one thing I do to like just myself, I read a lot, like in the mornings and at nights. It's kind of like one of the things that I like doing by myself. But yeah, like as an example, I think like with trips, kind of the style that I like is I like to make a plan. You know, have list of things that, you know, I want to try and get to, but it's not like, you know, it's not set in stone. Like if we see something that, oh look, you know, this is really cool, I wonder what's in here, like you go with it, and you're not completely tied to it. Obviously you want to make a plan so you can make the best out of the day, and you know, you're not just wandering around aimlessly completely, although, you know, that's also fun sometimes. But you know, you want to see some things. If you're going to Paris, then, you know, you have a list of things to do, but you let yourself be fluid enough to if something catches your attention, you go with that. You seize the moment.
Those are usually the best moments.
Yeah,
in my opinion, like when you find those unexpected things, gems, places, people, whatever.
Yeah.
Like you just spend as much time in that moment, cherish it as much as possible. I mean, it does fulfill you, right? If you're an extrovert or an introvert, if you're in a place that you thrive or feel so connected with at a time. I mean, as people, we're so like we need other people, and I believe everywhere I go, even if it's like France, wherever. Like my favorite part is just experiencing like that culture of the people. Like get yourself as close to different perspectives as possible, and that opens your mind. I feel like towards so many different possibilities and things, and it's just I mean, you're really touching on some serious like things that I don't really hear people put into words often.
Yeah, and I think that's the key, like not getting caught up in the anxiety of things not going to plan, because a lot of times that's what we get caught up the most is in the plan and making sure that it's going efficiently, and we're checking off all the, and then if it doesn't go that way we get stressed. So getting caught up in that, like yes, having a plan, but not getting caught up in it, letting yourself
iterate
more freely and enjoy what you're doing, even if it's not going to the plan. That's kind of more of the point.
Exactly. I love that. And I think go ahead.
I want to say I think earlier one of the things that caught my attention was and maybe you didn't say this, but it's what I think you said. Is you said something along the lines of being in the moment, trying to enjoy the time that you have or whatever. So for both of you all, when was the last time y'all ate a meal where y'all weren't zombie eating? And zombie eating to me is when you sit there and eat and you're doing something else. Not say you're talking to friends at a table that are also eating with you, but reading a book, reading your phone, listening to music, watching a TV show. When was the last time you didn't do that while you ate and you just sat there and ate? And enjoyed it, right? So in a sense, if you have all your senses, right? If you're in the moment, right? You probably want to activate as many senses, right? To get the most out of that moment. Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel that those things, I mean, I'm not a doctor. There is no way to fix. I don't think there's a way to fix depression. It is a thing everyone kind of goes through or whatever, right? But I think those small things really help people at times. I think we're so far away from when was the last time you walk every day, to our building, just like I do and stuff like that from home. And when was the last time you walked from home to here without your headphones on and just listened to the sounds, even though it's Houston, so we're gonna get catcalled, obviously. We're gonna have cars driving by, honking, beautiful outdoor sounds, sounds of the trailer park, things like that.
That's what I listen to before bed. It's my bedtime, the sounds of the trailer park.
Thanks, Boy Meets World.
Yeah, it's a good point.
I don't know. I feel a lot of people don't do that. It's even when we play video games nowadays, people are listening to other music while they're playing games. My roommate for years, one of his favorite things to do was to play video games and have Netflix things streaming. And it's does that take away from does that make the dope I think it make it better? Does it
Well, I think it depends because for example, I enjoy eating having a meal, eating something while I watch a snippet of a show or a movie. Actually, I watch my movie in 5 or 6 parts, but so part of my moment of enjoyment is eating something while I watch. But you're right, it's true. A lot of times I think this is also goes back to the practice of mindfulness, and a lot of teachers, what they say is when you have a meal, are you observing the taste? Are you
that's
actually
what I was going to say? Is if you don't have the TV on, it's going to sound weird. You can hear yourself chew.
Yeah.
Or you can hear the sound of the spoon or the fork touching the food or hitting the plate. No, but all those things.
And your senses are more just in tune to what you're tasting.
So do you taste more of the meal when you have less of your senses being activated?
Oh, I'm sure you do.
Or that's
Well, have you ever? Well, I mean, yeah, because our senses, they all go back to the brain, and it's just it's a single machine that's extrapolating and taking the data in. So yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you're focused on one task or one sense, you're gonna take it in more, and that's why I don't know if you ever notice if you're driving, let's say you're driving, and suddenly you need to pay more attention to the road for whatever reason. There's a crash or something. Do you ever find yourself turn down the volume of the radio. You know, like, why? Like, it's not like...
I play Flight of the Valkyries.
You should be able to see properly with the noise, but...
Sorry.
No, yeah, but it's been shown, like, that yeah, like, you know...
people turn down the radio whenever they back up.
Yeah.
People, when they go to reverse,
right.
you know, people just turn on the radio. Remember that?
So, yeah, I mean, it's true. Like, if you focus on a certain sense, you take it in more, you process it better. So yeah, I mean, it's an interesting point. I think most of us don't really stop to
smell the roses.
Like it's like a lot. So many things are a means to an end. You know, like taking a walk is a means to get to where you're going, as opposed to, you know, just a walk where you're observing things. You know, eating a meal is a means to getting.
I think that's the craziest part to me lately. Is exactly what you said there. Is like sometimes I go on a walk aimlessly, like around the apartment. Like I do it more often lately. I don't know. I'm not really sure why, but I guess I have a little more time. But like, so I'll just kind of walk at night, and I notice that there's nobody like else doing.
Whenever
that.
you walk, just always make sure you make it a walk to remember.
I do, like every time. You know, you really like. I actually take it. I actually take it and really am like doing the whole, you know, taking into my surroundings and stuff, listening to whatever else is around me, you know, seeing if I see anything cool happening around, whatever. But there's no music. Like, I don't usually have music. Well, now I probably always will have music. These things like these are attached to my head.
What are those things?
These are the new Meta. Should I advertise? Yeah, Meta Ray-Bans. They're really cool.
We can play Bobby.
But now I'm basically always attached to like AI, you know, so like that's kind of interesting. So I mean, ever since I got these, it's been a little different because I do have music always playing and stuff. But like before that, like a week ago, when I was going on these walks, it was really interesting to see that nobody, like, it's just weird that other people aren't doing things. You know, at like 9,
not
10.
doing things.
Yeah, like, you know, you see a ton
other
of
people.
I live
in a city of 4 million
600
people plus, and no one's doing anything.
Look outside, man. Like if you walk outside, it's dead. Like nobody's outside walking. Like nobody's doing anything.
Bro, it's 51 degrees outside in Houston, Texas right now.
Like, when it was it was literally 70, bro. It was 70. This was like during spring. Like we had the 2 weeks. You know what I'm saying? Like the 2 weeks period where we had really nice weather.
You gone to Herman Park?
Of course, I've been there. But like that's different. Like I'm talking about like people walking like around the apartment or walking around the downtown or midtown, or like you don't see people unless they're at the bar or unless they're like engaged in like current activity. Like you just don't see people. It'd be funny, but like you don't see people aimlessly wandering around, you know, like, and that surprises me.
Ryan,
what's that?
We do have a lot of people aimlessly.
I mean, don't. Around. I know where you're going. Don't go
not
there.
Say we don't have that.
Don't go. I mean, like, I can't even say that. I mean, like, not that. I know where you're going, not that. But I'm talking about like people that are in my I don't see people in my complex even outside ever, right? Unless they're out walking a dog. Like there's nobody just out. Like,
Like, I don't get it. I think it's I think most of what the majority of us do, like most of our actions, most of our tasks that most of us do are a means to an end. Mm-hmm. But the end is never there. Like there's always another, you know.
Yeah.
Tomorrow never comes.
Yeah. I mean, you know, we exercise to, I don't know, be better in the future, be stronger, or.
I wonder where all the people are at who just don't really have much to do right now, and they want to go outside, you know, and just be outside, right? Like we used to as kids, right? We used to just go outside and hang out.
Exactly, yeah. That's the beauty of being a child. You do things.
You just do
not because they're means to an end, but because out of enjoyment. Like you're playing. You get stuck in the play. You get stuck in the sport.
How many TikTok videos did you make when you were a kid?
I made a ton of YouTube videos because that's what was around when I was a kid. But
you don't think kids are making videos? They're out there dancing. They're out there saying stupid things.
I mean, that's cool and all.
Like,
that's
bro,
cool.
We literally have like all day long kids say the darnest things now. Like literally, like.
You're not wrong.
You can just like turn stuff on. It's not even kids anymore. It's teenagers.
But I wonder how much of that is
grandma,
enjoyment.
grandpa.
That's not exactly.
Or I wonder how much of that is like because they want to, you know, be an influencer. I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm sure there's a lot of people that do it out of enjoyment.
Stupid videos, like that's what I'm saying. Like it used to be like you really like I did like stop motion and shit like that, where it actually took like a lot of work.
Well, yeah, and that brings it to another.
But I enjoyed it.
That brings it to another point. A lot of creation that is being done now is a means to an end, and it's done. You know, like so much of it now is short form, not because people enjoy making short form content, but because the algorithms are dictating that that's the best content to make.
Indeed.
And so artistry is being shaped by social media and online and the means to an end to get followers instead of for the sake of art itself. And I think, and it's hard, I think, being an artist in that kind of world. Because again, like for me, I find it overwhelming where you have to keep up with like these accounts, and I have to think about making short form when that's not like what I enjoy most. Is not that
you're in the creative process.
Yeah, it's doing other things, but so that's another thing too. Like that kind of mentality is also shaping how art is. You know, it's shaping art. It's shaping music.
Harry Styles said it right. It's a sign of the times.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I thought you were going to say watermelon sugar.
No.
I do too.
But you could definitely say art's not going in one direction.
Ah.
Oh, wow. Look at that.
I like your style.
Oh, jeez.
Is
You
that...
going to taste some soup? Oh, no.
Is that soup? Oh, speaking of soup, we should probably... There's got to be some, like, Houston-based soup companies.
We could actually get
and we should be able to reach out to like there's got to be someone here that has a Houston-based soup.
Oh, 100%.
I don't think we don't even need to reach out at first. I think we can start.
I can make the soup.
You know, before we have like.
We
can
should
make
at least release one episode before we start
we're taking sponsors for soup now.
No, but that was just more of a statement. I wasn't asking for sponsors. It was more like we could reach
well.
out. Like, there's got to be someone like that sells like. I can make the soup.
Or we could just start by buying a soup from somewhere and say, and shout them out on social media. Hey,
HEB.
Hey, look, and that'll help.
I think we should actually legit get like a goat brain soup.
Huh? A goat?
Yeah, brain soup. An actual brain soup.
You want me to just make our own soup?
We can
just make our own soup.
Hit it with some pita bread.
We'll just pick. All right, we'll do it based on all 5 of us, right? What is our favorite item in a soup, and I'm just gonna build it. Like YOLO. Like if he's like sardines, we're
not that long ago. I had borscht. actually, there's a borscht cook-off coming up. Borscht.
Yeah, borscht.
It's like the Ukrainian red soup. Yeah, I had it not too long ago, but there's a cook-off coming. I think next weekend. Borscht cook-off. There's going to be some pretty good judges judging the soup. Anyway, that would be a great soup to
Who are the judges, man?
I
have to know because who's a good judge?
Well, okay.
Industry?
Have you been to Riel? I don't know how you pronounce it. It's RIEL.
Oh, okay.
It's a restaurant here in Houston, but it's actually it has a lot of different influences and it's a fusion, but it has influence from Ukraine because the owner has Ukrainian heritage.
Cool.
He's Canadian, but he's also so he's one. But there's also
we should put a little
someone in government who's the guy. I'll need to look it up. Who are the judges? But some pretty good judges.
Cool.
I just can't think of who they are.
No, I mean that's cool. I didn't realize who would be classified as a good judge in that. So yeah, it makes sense. People who are actually like owning that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Well, are we
real quick?
Last segment, or
we'll do one last segment real quick, and we're
going
to do topic. And if y'all haven't seen it, y'all should watch it. Hopefully by next week, because I want to talk about a topic inside of this show. So if you haven't seen on Netflix The Fall of the House of Usher, you should watch it.
I haven't heard about it.
The House of Usher?
Bruh.
Is it about
it's not about the musician.
No.
Don't go there.
I thought it was a documentary about his fall from grace.
No, it's about
he used to be.
It's about a really rich family. It's about a really rich family that basically is on trial and has some issues go on. And you should just watch it. It's a thriller. It's technically a horror, I think, or scary. I think it's under scary movies.
A movie or a show?
It's an 8-episode series, limited series, about an hour each episode. Tony, man, not many shows in this world I binge. You can ask these guys.
I know this, yeah.
That show I watched in 2 days. Very few. I don't really watch a lot of TV shows or really and if I do watch them, I don't usually tell a lot of people about them. But I'm telling you. That one, guys, if y'all haven't seen it, I'm putting a plug in here for Netflix, which is really awkward for me, but it was a good series. Or limited, whatever you want to call it.
What is it? The Fall of
The Fall of the House of Usher.
Oh.
It's good. Watch it.
The Fall of the House of Usher.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Additionally, I think there's one other one that I kind of like too.
Oh, shows?
Yeah, show. And it's like, you know, totally y'all read Goosebumps, right? I'm sure.
Oh yeah, I used to love those books.
Dude, that one that just came out on
R.L. Stein?
Yeah,
Yep.
R.L. Stein. Dude, they just released this show. I don't know which platform it's on, but it's like actually really good.
Hulu.
Is it Hulu?
I think it's Hulu.
Which one?
Disney Plus, I think.
Goosebumps. I thought it was Hulu.
I don't know.
But it might be Disney.
Wait, were you
Plus.
talking about Goosebumps?
Yeah, like they released
Oh.
an actual show.
Oh,
now.
really?
Yeah, but it's all about that one book, which was the one about the picture when you take the
Say
picture.
Cheese and Die. Yeah, so it follows one. Yeah, so
It
that's
was a
what
good
got
one,
me.
man.
So like, I thought it was gonna be like the old one where it was like little segments,
Yeah.
and it was just gonna be book by book. And
I
this is
wish.
actually like an entire. So they're like, hey, yo, what's up, Stranger Things? We're Goosebumps.
Kind of cool, man. Actually, I was
This is
waiting. I've
definitely
been
a 90s
waiting.
thing. Right?
Yeah, I've been waiting. for
Hey,
Goosebumps,
speaking of which,
like,
do you know which famous actor was in Say Cheese or Die in the original Goosebumps?
there was an original show.
Yeah,
No.
the like '90s.
Oh,
early
yeah, there
2000s.
was. Oh, my-
Do you know who
you
the
just opened
famous
up a
actor?
memory.
Do you know who one of the famous actors was that was in the episode Say Cheese or Die who got the camera?
I can't even believe you just opened up that memory. There was a show beforehand.
Hold on. Matt Damon.
I like that. Yes.
No, Ryan Gosling.
What?
Really,
Bruh, look
I
it
wasn't
up.
too far off then.
dude? Yeah. I mean, you're right. I mean, you basically guessed him.
Bro, you'd have been closer with Channing Tatum.
I don't know about that. I think. Let's debate this.
Well, I used to
what
have.
series-
I used to have a series.
So,
Oh, I
what's
was-
something recently you watched or something you want to talk about real quick?
So actually, going back to our first topic
Mhm.
about AI and how they could take over, and well, this movie has been around for a while, but I've kind of been rewatching some movies. I love sci-fi and
Interstellar?
Extinction. Well, yeah, best movie.
Didn't we
Favorite.
do?
But
do
no.
this?
Yeah. I can talk about it, Interstellar, for ages, but no, actually, Extinction. It's gosh, he's a great actor, but I don't know his name.
Dwayne The Rock Johnson?
But it's no, not him. I do know his name. He's Hispanic, not The Rock. I'm talking about the actor.
Machete?
No.
That's a good one too. Danny Trejo. He's good.
Yeah, no. I'm gonna have to look it up. But Extinction, basically, well, if I tell the premise, it's gonna ruin it. But it's about AI and
How it like kind of starts to evolve and stuff. I'm assuming, and then gets too powerful, whatever.
well, let's just say it passes the Turing test. I don't want to. I don't want to
Yeah,
get
we can't
spoilers.
spoil it.
It's an old movie, but if you haven't watched it, I recommend it.
Cool.
Extinction.
Extinction.
Don't ruin it like
because
the Red
it-
Wedding.
Where's it on? Like,
Netflix?
Amazon Prime.
Oof.
Well, I mean, you can rent it.
Who has that?
Showroom is
Huh?
it's a movie.
It's a movie. Yeah, it's a movie. Yeah.
Follow the House Usher. Watch it. You'll enjoy it. I
I'll
promise
check
you
it out.
you'll enjoy it.
I'll watch it. I'll probably because I watch. Yeah, like Extinction. I watched it in like 5 parts.
All right, guys. So, let us know if there's any shows you thought was cool, or if there's any random passages from your favorite book. But please, not this book, unless you really like this book.
What?
In which case, you can use this
What do
book.
you mean? No, read this book. It's good.
No, I didn't say not to read. I said just please don't give us a quote out of this book.
Why
We
not?
hear
There's
from you
so
all
many-
the time.
Look how many.
I just want to. I don't want to. I know.
I'm not
Do
even
they mean
finished.
I
anything?
love the annotation.
Hold on. Look.
I'm not
Okay,
even
guys.
finished.
Look. So he has all these different colors. Real quick. See this, right? So I was like, oh man, they're all in different spots. Like, oh, they got to be color coded. So I messaged him about 2 nights ago. Was it 2 nights ago?
Yeah, something like that.
And I'm like, hey, Fernando, look, when you use these like tags on your book, what do the different colors mean? And he's like, nothing. But that's actually a really good idea.
Yeah, I mean.
Well, yeah,
That's
there is
like-
no system. It's just I like to. I don't want to run out of one color, so I'll use another one. But one thing I do want to do is go back to all of my stickies and start compiling a second brain.
Cool.
Look at you, LLM.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a little language learning module.
Oh.
Look at that. You're just machine learning guy.
Anyway,
Right.
this has been another episode
Okay.
of Brain Soup.
So I guess that's a wrap.
So we totally just changed the intros and outros.
Not an outro yet.
You make me do this like
Well,
long
this has been
12
another
paragraph
let me
outro
try
last week.
and-
Yeah.
This has been another episode of Brain Soup. Again, I'm Fernando,
Cal Miller.
Ryan Shazadi.
and we hope you continue to explore and be curious and have more of those thinking noodles.
And please keep dealing with us.
Thinking noodles. It's like your lifeline of thought.
Until next time.